on this computer. Ah, it's recording. All right. We are talking to Object Collection today, and we're about to see a preview of their piece, Look Out, Shithead. That's just the way I say it. How do you each say the title?
Look out, shithead. I hit shithead.
Yeah.
Shithead's a fun word, so I like to hit it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right.
It's also look out. It's
write
also
this
like
down.
it's also like look out, so it's kind of both.
Emphasize all the words. That's the direction. Look out, shithead! Like that.
Yeah.
My,
Yeah.
my neighbors love me.
Emphasis.
All caps, just like MF Doom, right? Rest in power. So.
Yeah, it's a tribute piece.
That's right.
Well, thank you for joining us, and I'm so glad to have you in Exponential. Is actually one of the earliest conversations about Exponential 2021 that we had with anyone. But it sort of brings me to the first question. Is this the show that you intended when we first talked about ideas back in May? Or did the piece that you've created, Look Out, Shithead, is that a totally different thing than what you had conceived of all those months ago?
Yeah, I mean, it is and it isn't. It's we basically, yeah, we have been working on all this material that we were, inspired by these Eric Rohme films. And we had just gathered so much material on it, and we were working on it all summer. And I think when the time came to kind of switch gears to the, virtual performance, we sort of decided that, rather than try to do something entirely new, that we would just sort of try to adapt what we had been working on to the circumstance. Because for us, we're always sort of, all of our pieces are just, it's all kind of like one long piece. We just sort of evolve the ideas with each new install, object collection installment. So, it didn't really matter for us to kind of like shift the vessel for it. But yeah, I mean, we're working on it. We're probably going to keep working on the material in some way, and this is the latest offering.
Awesome. So where did I guess if everything is one long piece, which I identify with that heavily with Title Point, we call it the title verse, and that wasn't the intention starting out, but they all seem to be speaking to each other. And I think I've seen every Object Collection show for at least a decade.
Yeah, I think a little before that too, but yeah.
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 I think you have.
When was the one with the walls at the ontological? Was that like before?
That was 2013, the one that where we built the hotel room and took it down. That's 2013. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, because we were like back to back. You you were at least in 2006, which would have been our second show. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that I did see the 2006 because that was actually the year that that Title Point first did something, and that we formed in order to do something. So I think, yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
so for 14 years. So I'm pretty well versed in the Object Collection universe. But for everyone else that may have only seen one or two things or nothing at all, give us a glimpse of what exists in that universe, and sort of segue that into talking about how Look Out, Shithead sort of takes it to a new place in the universe. Are there any new experiments or things that are divergences from the past?
Yeah, well, I think this piece is really very different, actually. We, yeah, I mean, most recently we've, the pieces like the You Under Our Space Control and prior to that, It's All True, and all of that kind of line of pieces that were sort of, you know, uh, like experimental operas, for lack of a better term, but and with lots of music and loud, sort of cacophonous events with lots and lots of things happening simultaneously, too much to look at, that kind of like a sort of assault on the senses. We've been doing that for a while, and I would say this is actually quite in the opposite direction from that. Um, and so, yeah, I don't know. We really felt like we wanted to try something different for this amount of material. Also, the material that we were drawing from, that we were originally inspired from, was very different from the kinds of stuff that we normally draw from. That was based on all of these sort of um, films about love, and we typically are like drawing from you know civic unrest and revolution and texts about that, which sort of like adds to uh, that electrified atmosphere of the pieces. But when we had the idea to work on this material, I think we felt like we wanted to maybe take it in a different direction. Not that it's going to be a permanent direction, or that it's not going to evolve into something else next month, but yeah, so I think it's actually quite different. So yeah, if you've never seen anything prior to this piece, you probably think we're very different.
I love that. I love that because I mean the great thing about performance in general is that you have no control over who's watching what you do and what their perceptions of it will be and
Yeah.
what their point of entry is. And so uh I sort of love that. I feel like the one of the times where I was like, "Oh, now I know how to watch an object collection show." It was when I went skydiving upstate and then immediately drove back, came to La Mama and saw your show like right after skydiving.
I remember that.
I forgot about the skydiving part of it. Jesus.
It was amazing. So if you could like craft a sort of situation for someone in which to like a before your show and after your show, uh what do you think that would be, or like how as
Definitely.
viewers this time, because you're gonna get to view it
Well,
from
everybody has to skydive, or else they're not allowed to watch it. I think that's pretty. Yeah. Either right before or right after, or during. You know, it's definitely a skydiving centric show. Yeah. I don't know. I
so
mean, yeah, we always like. I mean, it's obviously we're very committed to like the live audience situation. We're not like we weren't like always dying to become filmmakers or something. We're like trying, but like the situation is what it is, and we didn't. And we've done some video stuff this year. Because like it was hard for us to. I mean, some people, this year, past year, needed to retreat or just like not make work, and that's very understandable. I mean, everybody has a different reaction, but for us it was very hard to not be working on artwork. For me personally, for us personally, because it just gave us a distraction and outlet, stuff like that, and feeling like we weren't powerless at home. um, but I mean, when you started making like stuff that was like all video and everything's recorded and you're just dealing with footage, then at a certain point we just decided to embrace it and just be like, yeah, we're making a film. That's what it is. That's what it's engaging with. I mean, we still have the backgrounds we have, but I mean, it really is. It's like an episode of. It's like a TV show, but like, one that would not get produced by any network anywhere except for your blessed.
well, the network TV is all but dead. So I
I mean,
think
I don't expect Hulu to come knocking, but I mean, hey, we're open.
well, this is the future, exponential TV, and
Yeah,
and you have to be skydiving while watching.
yeah, absolutely, definitely.
I think there's something to that.
Yeah.
So how is it working remotely with your actors? Because there are a lot of people that you've worked with before, many of them who don't live here. So to some extent, there might have been some freedom there in getting to work with them and not have to figure out flights or trains and housing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
but
it
like,
was
how is the creative affected?
it was fantastic in a way. I mean, nothing about it is fantastic, obviously, but I mean, you try to, but I mean, like, we worked with, I mean, we worked with people in 6 countries and 2 US states. And so and some of them are still based in New York, but had to decamp for various reasons. Or, and some of them would potentially, live abroad or live other places and they would come and be in our show if it was in New York on stage. But, and some of them like are never in New York. So it was like a great opportunity to work with people that that have like spread out around the globe, and sort of like bring them together in this sort of like idealized way. I mean, they're different people. I mean, like our friend, Fulia Peker is in Istanbul, and she works with us a lot. But like the guy in London, James Oldham, he performed with us when we were on tour in London. But I mean, he's never like been, to the city. I mean, we actually like tried to get him to come do Space Control, but I mean, it never worked out. But so it was kind of like nice. I mean, we have a diffuse community anyway. I mean, we know people all over in various random little places, and we keep in touch. But like, it's hard to work with them, and so this was a great opportunity to sort of like, reaffirm that community and do it in like in a direct creative way, and have them involved. And I think it works actually. So yeah.
Yeah, it was exciting. There are people that, we never normally would not have ever been able to bring into this work. And so that was really fun to be able to do that. And it is different, obviously, working over Zoom, but for a lot of the people I've worked with, you know, in on other shows, so I know the way that they move and can can make it work, you know?
Totally. Yeah, I feel like it's probably to some extent comforting having worked with each other for so long and worked with so many of your performers before, because you're not figuring out how you relate to each other or how you relate to art. You're just figuring it out in this new context. And so I think there's something comforting about that, I suppose. So because this is not a long form interview, and I always have to stop myself from going too long, but there will be plenty of room for that later in 2021. Stay tuned. But closing question: if you had to, between the two of you, you can come up with 4 adjectives to describe the vibe of this particular piece.
Between the two of us. Okay.
Whoever gets them out quicker, I guess. I was trying to make it fair and you could each
Let's
have
all do
2,
it. You go
but
first. We'll do like tennis.
Ah.
Uh, you
Oh, geez.
This is like an improv game.
Yeah.
This is like
I
zip
know.
zap, zap. I don't know what to say. uh,
uh, well, I would say verbose.
All right, Travis, your turn. I've done it.
it's a two-worder, so this will be both of mine, but I'd say surprisingly funny. So that's 2 for me. So now, and you can finish it off.
Um, uh, uh, this is, I would say,
Good.
Objectively good.
Objectively good. Unmitigated.
spooky.
It is actually spooky.
Okay, so verbose, surprisingly funny, and spooky.
Yeah.
I love it. See, but so it might be hard to pull these words out of your butt, which is what improvers do all the time.
Yeah.
But it also helps people to be like, oh, now I want to watch that. Verbose, surprisingly funny, and spooky. I'm in.
That's right.
So next time I just won't make you improvise it. But thank you so much, Object Collection. I'm super stoked. Your show is next Sunday, January 10th, at 5 p.m.
11th, 10th, 11th,
No,
or
it's the
10th?
10th.
He says.
I'm bad at numbers. I'm sorry, I didn't speak. Edit that out. Edit that out.
Oh my gosh. It's the 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
I have almost the entire exponential calendar memorized, but because of just fuzzy 2020 brain that's still sort of in there, I doubt myself. I second guess myself, but I'm always right. It's Sunday, January 10th, 5 p.m. Eastern. Look out, shithead.
Yes. Look out, shithead.